Hello, my fellow handicappers. This is Weekend Handicapper from weekendhandicapper.com. In this video, we're going to provide picks and analysis for the 2021 Jeff Ruby Stakes, spelled like the food stakes. Thought that was kind of clever, at Turfway Park. It occurs on Saturday, March 27th. It's race number 11. You have a field of 12 trying to get to the Kentucky Derby, and they're going a mile and an eighth on the poly track, on the synthetic track of Turfway Park. Should be a wide open race with many different ways to go in this race, I think. So let's look at each of these horses, and at the end I'll give you my picks and how I'm going to bet this race. We also have the Florida Derby, my favorite Kentucky Derby prep race, going on this weekend. So check out my picks and analysis video for the Florida Derby if you're interested on this channel, Weekend Handicapper. You can also check out the card up top here. I'll link it there. That should be that should show us some true contenders, I think, historically anyway. The Florida Derby does. You also got a race going on in the Middle East, in Dubai, and you have a race that can earn Kentucky Derby points in Japan. But I don't follow international racing that close, not well enough to wager, to give my opinions on it, make videos of it. Like Outlaw Josie Wells said, a man's got to know his limitations. All right, so let's get back to Turfway Park. Let's go through each one of these 12 runners in this race. Number one, Like the King. So, in my opinion, what you want to think about with this race, you got horses coming in, shipping up from Gulfstream Park, from Tampa Bay Downs, from Fairgrounds. But then you also got the local horses that have already raced and competed fairly well at Turfway Park. I think a big factor in how you're going to handicap this race is, do you go with the horses that have had a race on this unique surface, or how much credence do you give to this poly track unique surface? Does it matter? Good horses can run on whatever. So, and therefore you might give the edge to the Gulfstream shippers or the Tampa Bay Downs shippers. I think that issue right there, that topic of whether or not, these horses, how much credence do you give to poly track, and how important is it for a horse to have raced on this surface before, and how well has it done on this surface before? I think that's a major angle or major factor in your decision making when it comes to playing this stakes race at Turfway Park. So back to Like the King, the number one horse is one of those that has raced at Turfway. Came in second in the John Battaglia Memorial, behind Hush of a Storm, who's also in this race. Rafael Bejarano, the jockey of that horse on that day at the John Battaglia, he's off this horse now. He's on another horse in this race, which I'll tell you about. But Drayden Van Dyke's going to get the mount. And so could this horse be ready for revenge at Turfway and against Hush of a Storm and be victorious at 6-1? I think that's a worthy contender right here. Number one, Like the King. Again, if you give credence, if you put a lot of emphasis on liking the track, performed well at this track, used to the track, then number one would be certainly a contender on those angles. Number two, Hush of a Storm did win the John Battaglia Memorial. We did pretty good. We had this horse in the John Battaglia Memorial. I think it was like 6-1 or paid like 12, 14 bucks, something like that. So it was good. That was a good night on a Friday night. You can check out the video that I made for that back when. But Hush of the Storm's trying to repeat in a bigger stakes race now at Turfway Park. It's 4-1 morning line. This race is a mile and an eighth. So I'm not sure if you're looking for ways to play against a short price horse, then the distance might be a negative for this horse. So you kind of analyze whether or not you think this horse can get the distance. But man, this horse is on a nice winning streak. So it's hard to quit a winner, especially at the same track, right? So depends on the price, but Hush of a Storm is a contender too, because he loves this track. You're talking about a horse for course angle. Yeah, he's got a nice winning streak going on at Turfway Park. Yeah, he's going to face probably classier horses today. So it's all about price. Y'all know that when you watch these videos. It comes down to maybe not so much who you think is going to win, but who you're going to bet and what's a good bet. Number 3, King Ovation, 15-1 long shot for Dale Romans. Dale Romans seemed like he's desperately trying to get to the Kentucky Derby. He's got horses in these stakes races that hadn't even been competitive, really, for the most part. But this is a long shot here, a long shot closer. Now, whether or not that's the right running style you need in this race at Turfway, I'm not sure. But coming in from Gulfstream Park, trying to earn a spot in the Kentucky Derby, I don't see it happening. I think this horse is a shot in the dark, but it's Turfway. Shot in the darks win all the time. Number 4, Awesome Jerry. I don't know why I keep liking this horse or trying to give this horse a shot at huge odds. Seems like that I've always included it in exactas and stuff. It's 20-1 morning line here for a trainer, Safi Joseph Jr., who's bringing in a couple from Gulfstream Park. Early speed might improve this horse's chances at a really nice price. I would proceed with caution with Awesome Jerry, even though I think, things like this happen where horses get out to the early lead, especially at Turfway Park. Maybe not so much in stakes races, but if this horse can get out to a early lead that doesn't get too much pressure up front, it might have a chance to steal it, a long shot chance, because, again, I think there might be some distance limitations with this horse, and maybe a 1.125 is not the ideal distance for this horse. So, Awesome Jerry, long shot chance, I think. It's just only if he can get that early speed to hold up would be why you would try to wager on this horse. Number 5, Saint Hood, Todd Pletcher, won by nose at the fairgrounds last time. It's 12-1 morning line here. Could be a sneaky horse, maybe. I would include it in your exactas, that's for sure. If you've been watching these videos on my Derby prep races, I've been betting Todd Pletcher horses, specifically at Gulfstream Park, and hadn't been coming through for me at all. So, I don't know. Saint Hood might have a shot to win it because the running style, because the price. I'm not too confident on that horse, but definitely include it in your exotics. Number 6, Smiley Sabatka, another Dale Romans horse. Hasn't raced since its 9th place finish in Sam F. Davis, so that doesn't give me much confidence. But if you throw out that race, it's been in the money pretty much in the other 3 starts, but I don't see it happening here. Number 7, Tarantino, 3-1 morning line, and probably should be 3-1 morning line. I think this is the most logical horse here. If it can handle the poly track surface, if it can handle Turfway's track, then this horse should be the winner, honestly. It's coming up from Gulfstream Park. It was 4th in the Fountain of Youth, 2nd in the Holy Bull. It gets jockey Florent Giroux. I know he's faced some criticism for some of the rides he has done, specifically at Gulfstream Park with Caddo River, not being too aggressive enough or not aggressive enough. But still, if I see him on my horse, I would feel pretty confident. The horse been working out well. One of the most classiest horses in this field. So if you put emphasis on class in your handicapping, that's a important factor for you. Definitely number 7's got the class, got some of the best class in this race. it's going to be tough to beat, I think. Number 7, Tarantino, just how low of a price you want to get. Now, this race, you know, is typically pretty formful, even though it's at Turfway Park. So I wouldn't be too scared of a short price, because odds are that they'll win this kind of race. Number 8, Moonlight Strike. Early speed horse, 12-1, another one for Saffie Joseph Jr. I think this horse definitely has a chance at a really nice price. Kind of like my thinking or rationale with Awesome Jerry, the 4-horse. Number 8, Moonlight Strike's got to get out to the early lead, control things on the front end, and try to judge that pace enough that it can basically steal the race, or not got to balance that speed duel, or avoiding a speed duel with holding off the closers. Should be ready to fire, though. It's all about pace. Pace makes the race. You hear me say that all the time. That's one of the biggest things I put emphasis on when I'm handicapping. I think at 12-1 that's going to offer some really good odds. So I'm giving a strong chance to number 8, Moonlight Strike, for Saffie Joseph Jr. Should be ready to fire in this race. Number 9, Hard Ride Guy. It's consistently been running at Turfway Park, 4th in the John Battaglia. It's going to need some pace to close in on. The jockey Brian Hernandez Jr. is in to ride, so that might be a good sign. You see these jockeys that are coming in to ride these horses. Of course, they're trying to get a Kentucky Derby mount, but if you envision a pace scenario where the pace is going to be a little quick, then advantage goes to horses like number 9, Hard Ride Guy. Number 10, Gretzky, the great. He sure was the great one, that's for sure. Mark Casse is the trainer. This is a turf specialist, but did finish a respectable 3rd in the John Battaglia. Maybe the extra distance is what this horse needs. You always have to watch Mark Casse. He seems like he does well in big races. He's a big name trainer for the most part, and maybe not super trainer like Bob Baffert or how Brad Cox has been lately, or even Todd Pletcher, even though Todd seems like he's had an off year in these big stakes races. So you always got to be on guard for Mark Casse horses. This is a good, consistent, classy horse, so definitely a contender. Number 11, Dynamite, is 15-1. Been racing on the turf his last races. Been consistently in the money. So could be a good horse to include in your vertical wagers, your Zactus, Trifectas, Superfectas at 15-1. If it likes poly track. There's a theory, you don't hear about it too much anymore, or maybe I'm just so used to it, for 10 plus years, or 15 years, I guess it is now, of synthetic tracks being around and poly tracks being around. But the thinking was, if a horse likes the turf, it can easily transition to poly track, because the style the running style sets up, or those races are similar to turf races in terms of pace and how the running style fits and all that. So Dynamite, for sure, if has been doing well on turf, the theory is more than likely the horse is going to have no problem racing on poly track. And number 12, Hockey Dad, for trainer Doug O'Neill, trainer of Hot Rod Charlie, who just won a stakes race at at Fairgrounds, the Louisiana Derby. And the reason I'm laughing is it's just, what a look for racing. Race is so stereotypical of horse racing. The trainer wins a big Derby prep race. The Louisiana Derby is not there because he's been suspended because of drug violations, but the horse still wins. And so another black eye for racing. I don't know if he's here for this race, but I'm not a big fan of people that violate the rules and use illegal substances for the horses and stuff. But nonetheless, number 12, Hockey Dad, is in here with its chance, shipping in from Santa Anita, which is, it worked for Hot Rod Charlie down in Louisiana. Who's to say it can't work here at Turfway Park for Doug O'Neill with number 12, Hockey Dad. 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4 here. Dangerous horse at 10-1. Who should be out front earlier, but again, can the horse get the distance? So how am I going to bet the 2021 Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway Park? Like I said at the beginning of this video, you got horses that are shipping in that have been racing on dirt versus the horses that have performed well at Turfway Park on the poly track. Which way are you going to go? Does it make a difference? That's one thing to think about. Another thing to think about is who can get the distance of 1 1/8. Is that a big factor? Some of these horses look like they have distance limitations. Others seem like they're going to have no problem getting the distance. So using that, those kind of factors, thinking along those lines, along with other handicap factors like how in form the horse is, what kind of, how it's been working out, the price, all that sort of thing, the class of these horses. I'm going to go with, I think number 7, Tarantino, is going to win, but I think the number 8, Moonlight Strike, is the best value of the race. Makes the most sense to me if it can like this poly track. But at the right price, I think it was 12-1 morning line, you got to go. To me, I think that's a great bet. Now at Turfway, they get bet down quite a bit, so I would think it'd be probably about 8-1 or something, 9-1 when it's post time. But to me, it's down to 7, Tarantino, and number 8, Moonlight Strike. Part of me says, what are you doing, Shane? You won with Hush of a Storm, the number 2, Hush of a Storm. Why are you going to quit that horse? I don't know. I might regret that, right? It's all about the price. Because 2, Hush of the Storm, is won consistently at Turfway Park on the poly track, but I think it's facing a different class of horses today. So that's why I give the slight edge to 8, Moonlight Strike, and the number 7, Tarantino. Now, they could not like the track, and those local horses, the 1 and the 2, win. So I'm not going to get too crazy here in this race. I think a nice win bet on the 8, Moonlight Strike, and maybe box the 7 and 8. 7, 8, 1, 2, I should say. That way I cover myself in exactas would be some smart plays. Some other long shots that you might want to think about is the 12, Hockey Dad at 10-1. Gretzky's greatest horse that you should include in your exactas trifectas. I think the price might be a little too short probably for a win bet. And then Awesome Jerry, I'm curious to see how that horse runs. Probably another clunker, I guess, but I'm not going to get too crazy. I think if I just have a nice win bet on the number 8, Moonlight Strike, see what Tarantino's odds are, probably box the 7, 8, 1, 2. Again, when I say that, I don't box too often. But for the purpose of this video, it just makes it a lot easier just to say boxing the 7, 8, 1, 2 in exactas versus, doing this combination because it's paying more than it should, not betting this one because it's not paying like it should. I'd be here. The video is already 20 minutes long. I'm going to make it 30 minutes long. So that's how I'm going to bet the 2021 Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway Park. The number 8 horse, Moonlight Strike, going to check out, see what the odds are on number 7, Tarantino. Probably link them up, 7 and 8 with the 1 and 2. Maybe throw the 12 in there. We'll see. But I'm not going to get too crazy. Hopefully Moonlight Strike can win at a nice price. Now, who do you like? If you play the 2021 Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway Park, I'd love to hear who you're going to bet, what your ticket's going to look like. And best of luck to you, not only on this race, but at Gulfstream Park for the Curlin Florida Derby, or any race that you wager on this weekend. So until next time, this is a Weekend Handicapper. Happy handicapping, smart wagering.